my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
Wait.
Everybody just calm down!
Help!
Here,
Oh.
take my hand.
Ah!
Come on. You're gonna fall unless you take my hand.
No, give me your other hand.
Oh, my other hand isn't strong enough. You take my little hand.
No! Get it away from me!
Take it. Take my hand.
I'm Danny, and I'm here to call out all you crack pack bitches. You think I don't see you there? I'm the OG of this shit. But you come after the king, you better come correct. I'm Danny, motherfucker. Who are you? Crack pack. You smoke crack. You better watch your back.
Let the Lord of the Black Land come forth. Let justice be done upon him.
Something a bit different tonight. I feel like not enough of the chat know how much of a villain Danny is. And it's great to see all the F Dannies there in the chat. People standing up for the crack pack. How are you all going? It's the end of a very long drawing day for me. I did that video earlier and have been drawing ever since. I hope you all enjoyed the CG talk that just finished. And Proby says, the most feared bogan of them all. Exactly. That's me. That's me. Jim Cox. It's real. I'm really here. The premieres I do earlier. The premieres are like how I start my day. Go have a shower, think about what I'm going to say while I'm soaping myself, and then just record it. Now we draw. This is very impromptu. I just, I'm not streaming as much with the, I got rid of the, Wednesday night? Because it just got to be too much. So I thought, why not just, do a bit of a painted death drawing stream. Let me say hello to some people before we get started. We got Felix Huss here. Phil Devro. Welcome. He says, this place isn't nearly as nice as the Ivory Tower. Remodel this dump ASAP. Well, this is I get my own room in the Ivory Tower. I get to decorate it how I like. Camel at least allows us that. But so good to have you here, Phil. Genuine Comics is here. Michael Clan is here. Awesome One. Who else? Heavy Merlin. Lord Ravener. Dal A. I see Finatra says, boom. I'm sure Finn will be streaming later. The stank. Bringing that stank. There's the stank and the dank for all your streaming needs that you might require. Who else is here? Who else? I see Improby. I see Devilfish, Raiden Radio. All the people who were hanging out over there with Jeremy on CG Talk. Anonymity. Chris Stanley's here. Mason's here. Pork Hunt. We have the one and only Potato King himself, Mr. Shane Davis. I know that's the real one because there's no anus in his name. Great to have you here. I assume you are also on the work there. Mo Big's in the house. Great to see. And I'll say hello to. I know we've got 30 seconds. I usually do the first 5 minutes saying hello. Seven says Danny isn't wrong. Why does Arrogant Ape says nice pause? Oh, yeah, the Pork Hunt. Yeah, no, I never say his name together. That's right. Otherwise, I get in trouble. I mean, these streams don't get monetized anyway because I like to I like to use the videos. Camel Moon says nothing is as nice as Camel's ivory tower. It is pretty sweet, and now I have to say it's very high up. Once you get used to the altitude and the lack of oxygen, it's really nice in there. I have to say, there's my wife. She's listening in. The crack queen. SDA is calling Shane the potato king. Cullen asks, Bancroft, where's my tour boat? Tour boat? What are the... oh, right, yes. Yeah, I haven't drawn them in yet. He's talking about the Eiffel Tower thing. I haven't drawn them yet. I don't know if I'm going to, Cullen. I don't know. We'll see. I'm still doing the flats on that. We might do that later, depending on how many how much we get. I don't know. The thing with coloring, I'm going to try some skulls. And I don't know. The thing with coloring is you never know. Sometimes you start and go, oh, this isn't working. And if that happens, I'm just going to give up and just go to flatting, because I don't do tricky stuff on streams. Colored stream, you say? It will be colored. Pork asks, is there an elevator up to Camel's Tower? Well, there is for those of us on the panel. Everyone else has to walk. Unfortunately, though, at every level, there's a glass ceiling blocking you from coming. So you can see who's above you. But, yeah, you can't necessarily get in there. We've got Unhinged in the house. D's in the house. How you going, fellas? All right. Oh, there's Danny. Regular message from Danny. Crack is whack. Camel says it's a 500 level staircase with tolls. Yeah. There's taxes all the way up. All the way up, taxes. He's a harsh tax collector, says D. He is indeed. Evening, Mr. Antoine Dennison. All right. What am I going to do here? I'm going to move that here like so. I won't be able to bring up your comments anymore, but I will read them. I will interact. All this I'll try to as best as I can. Don't want that. I like it like that. Welcome to Catacomb Alley. Welcome to the catacombs, as I call them. This is one of the... I think I might turn this into a print or something. I don't know. Actually, if I do turn it into a print, I got to fix something up here, because I realized, see up here, there's supposed to be a hole, and things get dropped down the hole into this. You can't see it from this angle, but this is actually like a square pool. And as you can see, in the pool is this viscous concoction of bloody materials. Paul Ogg says, invite Vicky on the stream. Vicky will tear this apart. Mo says, Bancroft has adjusted the K values of the chat's text to his usual standards. Yeah, so this fella here is climbing. He's stepping out of the vat. In the book, there's actually going to be some panels in this middle section here. So it's going to be like a top down. You'll be able to see the pool from above. And then you see him sort of like rising up slowly out of the pool. It's not Red Coombe, SDA. And it's not a placenta. Although, maybe there is some placenta in there. Yeah, this is the page that Vicky had some issues with. Vicky wasn't correct, but I mean, I appreciate criticism. And if enough people say there's something looking wrong here, I went and checked. There was I think it was this one here. See, this horizontal beam is too high. See how it's not really in line. It should be down here somewhere, I think. Can't remember. I'll fix it. I don't fix things up as I go. I'll fix them later in edits. And no, I showed Vicky there, because she said you should model this because it's all wrong. The whole thing is wrong. And then I showed her the 3D model it's based on. I didn't hear back from her. So, but yeah, there's going to be a hole here, and material gets dumped down the hole into this pool, And here's this guy emerging from it. I think I'm going to do some like effects with the blood. It's looking a bit sterile at the moment, but I'm not doing that right now. Right now, I'm going to try out doing something with these skulls because I've given them just a bit of a. Let me show you how I've done this actually. Let me turn the lights off. One sec. So there's the flats. I added in the shadows. Still very dark. And then the Lord said, "Let there be light." Bling, and the lights turn on. So I've given it like a blue base, a bluish base, and then you turn on the lights, and yeah, all is revealed. So I think I might try. I don't know. We'll see. It might be too much because I'm going to start like putting some highlights on these skulls. We'll see how it goes. I don't know if it doesn't work, then I'll figure it out off stream. But I've also got I can flat the Eiffel Tower thing, which is not as interesting, but whatever. All right, I've got my masks saved. I always save masks. If you want to check it out, where is it? See, all these things are saved as masks, so that I can quickly select them. Ding dang dong. Ding ding ding. No, I don't have to lasso everything every single time. You see? I just go, yep, that's the one I want. Bada bing, bada boom. And we're good to go. Hold on a sec. I got a super chat here from Pork Hunt. Says it's got a metal hurlant feel. You should go Richard Corbin colors on it. I have no idea what that means. Paul, I don't know things, Pork. People think I know things. I don't. I mean, I'm happy to learn things. But yeah, I don't know. I got my colors, like I do my colors a certain way. Because yeah, it's like this is how I do my interiors. I would add in more special effects if this was a pin-up, and if I do turn this into an actual poster, I probably will add them. But for the interiors, I keep it a certain way. I don't do as much color holds and special effects and everything like that, because what happens is you get this sort of like quality creep. And I find, okay, well, if I'm adding all this stuff on every single thing, it just keeps getting better and better. That sounds great, but it's sort of like diminished returns because it takes so much longer to do each page. And does it add that much to the story? I don't think it does. It certainly slows the whole thing down. But I think for a pin-up, it's cool. It's fine. Add some stuff. Skip says he saw some actual photos that look like this building. Yeah. There's I've based it on the actual catacombs in Paris. Plus, the vaulted ceilings is like, vaulted ceilings go all the way back to Sumeria. So there's like churches and all sorts of stuff with this in it. Mo says Bancroft's answer for when he didn't know something used to be, "I'm not a DC guy." I'm still not. Yeah, I'm not good with names. Like I might know things, but I don't know their names. So yeah, that's where we're sitting at the moment. Now, I also put a little rim light. I occasionally do this because this blood is kind of like, it's shinier than this stone. So I just put a little rim light on it to make it shiny-esque. Now don't freak out. I'm gonna just do that. Here you can see that's the mask. See, I do everything in a mask. And I think masks are superior than just drawing straight onto the layer. But I just created that second layer because I want to draw this on top, because I don't want to affect what I've already done in case I don't like it. Now I've lost my selection. That's okay. You can lose a selection. You can get it right back. There it is. All right, I'm going to be picking the hard round brush, and we're just going to get in here and see what we can do. I don't know how we go. 7 of 9 asks, do you have to be smart to enjoy Painted Death? Well, Rob liked it, I think. I don't know if you have to be smart per se, but I don't dumb it down. Let's just say that. I don't dumb it down. I just get into it. You know, I gotta kind of like figure out how these are gonna look. So we're gonna be doing that on the fly. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see. See, it might be too much. It might be too much detail because obviously, like, this is where you want to be looking. I don't know how much I want to be spending over here, but we'll see. Mo says Rob looked at the pictures. Yeah, he looked at the pictures at least. He didn't read the interviews or anything, but I didn't expect him to. The interviews at the end of the book, it's like, I mean, it's good if you read them, but you don't have to. Yeah, this is probably going to be, I'm going to say this is probably going to be too much, but the good thing about using like a layer is you can just like tone it down with the layer. Like you don't have to actually, so you can go like brighter and lighter, but I'll do full light for the moment and then I can play with it later. Hold on a sec. I'm missing something. Oh, I've left the super chat up. My apologies. My bad. Actually, I'll zoom in a bit so you guys can see a bit closer. Mo says they could have gone very wrong. I guess he's talking about the interviews. They could have gone very wrong if Bancroft was in the wrong frame of mind, but they worked. Yeah, I was really surprised how people kind of responded to them. Man, that's a bit better. See, I think that's more like what I want them to look like. Because it's obviously there's a lot of text, and you know people don't like that whole. Who is it? Like Tom Taylor? I can never remember. Kind of, you know, just lots of text and not much pictures. But it was a. I thought it was like you know in the Watchmen how they have articles at the end. I kind of thought it was a bit like that. You can read them if you want. You don't have to. Tom King. Yeah. You know I'm not a DC guy. Does he work for DC? I don't know. Why is it cuneiform? Well, so in the first book, we meet the Olam, and he's sitting there. He's modeling out like a scale model of a ziggurat. He's writing in cuneiform on tablets, and yeah, he has some connection to this. I'm not going to lie. This is now this area here. This is like deep underground modern day Paris. So yeah, make of that what you will. Aldous called me out because they were like, you know, they didn't have cuneiform on columns. And I was like, it's not the olden days. This is new. When I say new, like 2,000 years old, not 5,000 years old. You know, built for purpose. Some people have already guessed what this whole thing is. These catacombs and that pit and everything. I'm not going to answer anything, but like, yeah, I mean, it's when you think about it, it's pretty self-explanatory. But it's very important to the Lucent, this whole setting. People ask me questions, I don't even know what they're talking about. It's all right. Keep them coming. I don't know if this is going to look any good. Like, I don't know if it's too much contrast. But I'll try it out for a few things and we'll see. Obviously, you don't color all the skulls. There's a lot of friggin' skulls. You just do like the ones closer and then they gradually sort of fade away. And then here it's like you just get looser and looser. Yes, Sam, they are skulls. So yeah, this is let me just say it again. All right. So we got these cuneiform columns. I'll tell you what, I mean, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really come into play. These columns tell the story of the order that built this place. And the cuneiform on this pit tells the story of what's going on with this pit. And there's this material that gets dropped down from this hole that isn't there yet into the pit. This guy's emerging from it, covered in this gooey red substance. And then the ceilings, which are vast and just, go back forever, are lined in human skulls. Make of that what you will. It's not explained in Painted Death. In fact, I don't think I ever explain it. But yeah, it'll become very clear what it's all about as the books go on. I mean, it's not. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to be smart to read at 7, but like, as soon as you just got to put 2 and 2 together. The splucent, says Jim Cox. Red slime. 7 asks, should I bother translating the script on the columns? No. People have asked me that. People have said you should totally like tell all the secrets, and get it translated into cuneiform. There are websites that can do that. It's not that difficult. And then make that what's on the columns. Are you out of your mind? Like, I'm a dramatist, sure, but not like that. I mean, that's crazy. I think I'm going to start lighting these a little bit of less light on them. But people out there do that sort of stuff. I'm just like, no, I get it. I mean, it's hard enough just to friggin' make that as it is, let alone have it actually be something. Kidding me? If I did that, I wouldn't get this book out until 2030. I'm happy to be called a dramatist. That's fine. Just, yeah, that's taking it a bit too far. But I appreciate the ideas. Felix says, is the pink slime McDonald's uses as the filler material in their burgers? You're not far off, actually. You make a joke, but you're pretty close. This is actually this setting is the setting I chose for the vision piece for Malin. So in the vision piece, the camera is set up here on the side, and it's looking up towards this. So it's a much more, see, this is a very symmetrical, straight on, like 1 point perspective. Whereas in the visions piece, it's like looking up. So it's a lot more dynamic in that sense. And there's Ella here on the steps, and she's in a sexy pose, and she's wearing this sexy outfit, and and it's cool. Malin said he liked it, which was like, blew me away. It's very rare to get a compliment from Malin on your art. It's like when that happens, it's like it makes you weak. I don't know when that's coming out though. Antoine says, Mike's a dramatist and I'm a tracist. I don't mind a bit of tracing. I'm down for a bit of tracing. I didn't formulate this layout by myself. Like I showed it actually to Vicky when she wouldn't accept my perspective was correct. Actually, I have like a model of this in 3D. So that I know where all the pillars are and everything, and I don't have to measure it out and everything. Seven says, I like Ella. She seems like a nice girl. She is a nice girl. And like, I felt really sort of bad making her all sexy and everything. But she is sexy. I mean, I believe in that. Like, make your characters beautiful. No one wants to look at uggers. But she's not like, she's not that kind of girl. But when Malin says, do you want to do a piece for the visions thing? You do a piece for the visions thing. That's like, I don't make the rules. I just follow them. Pork says you always hurt the ones you love. Yeah. All right. So at some point, I'm going to start gradiating this. Actually, I might just do a couple more rows and then see where I'm at. And then, yeah, if I like what I'm doing, I'll continue. If I don't, whatever. It happens. This is like coloring is always experimental. Like for me, it's as much problem solving as it is art. I say, okay, how am I going to do this? A lot of times, I don't know. I just try it, and if it looks good, I continue. If it doesn't, I'll try something else. Model V says, Michael, if your visions piece isn't Ella in a bikini mowing a lawn, you fail life and you should go back and beat your past self up. It isn't. Jim says, do you have anti-aliasing off? I have anti-aliasing on for this sort of like brushwork stuff. No need to have it clean lines, everything. But with the flats, it's all, if I can show you the flats. Maybe you can't really see them. Can you see any of that? They're so dark. This dark setting. Oh, hold on. Unhinged says, this is the worst perspective I've ever seen. Rip it up and start over. That's what Vicky would have me do. It's all right. Look, sometimes stuff is good and sometimes it's less good. We just continue on. That's how we do it. If people think it's cool, like I shared a little bit of this piece and it got, I don't know, like 170 likes or something on Twitter. I don't normally get that. I said, like, that's good enough for me. I'll take that. And you got to remember for interior pages, people are on them for 10 seconds, 20 seconds. So, yeah. Sometimes you just got to keep going. All right, just finish off this line and we'll see what I do here. Oh, Jeremy's in the house. 170 likes, 7 of 9. Yeah, that's a lot for me on a Twitter piece of art. I think I got like 200 on the Eiffel Tower piece. That was encouraging. I didn't know how that would go down because it's not like people said like you should have Godzilla on it or something, make it more exciting. It's like it's not really the kind of book I'm making here. You gotta when you put your book up on the campaign or whatever, you gotta make sure that people know what kind of book they're getting into. It's not a Godzilla book. Marby Dog says, this reminds me of Interview with a Vampire. Magnificent. Love hearing that. Perfect. That's what I want to hear. Yeah, I loved that movie when I was a kid. There's definitely an element of that going on with The Order. Absolutely. All right. So I think what I'm going to do is, so obviously I want to try and sort of like get it brighter at the, you know, closer to the flame. So I'm just gonna sort of like repaint this in with a big soft brush. Mo says he meant Interview with the Vampire, the new HBO series. I haven't seen that. Actually, you know what? I'll use the old Dodge brush. That's probably best for this. It looks all right to me. Looks pretty good. Maybe it's still a bit bright. That's okay. I can take that down. Take that down to 80%. Mortal V says, I got to tease Ethan on 2 dead campaigns tonight, and he gets to see it says backer, so he has to take it semi-seriously until he reads it and goes, what the F? Mo says, Bancroft, let's just say you want to adjust the K values on set. Oh, really? That makes sense. I believe. Yeah. What were we watching yesterday? Clark wanted to watch Ninja Turtles. The one, you know, where they're all like freakishly huge and they have weird faces. It was the one with Fox in it. What's her name? Oh, D. Gifted 5 memberships. Hal D. Thank you so much, my man. Whew. You are... Dude, you're so generous. I can't thank you enough. And welcome to BLT, Engineer Wrecker, Derail Gaming, Frequency Girl, and Stupid Paintings by Dave. Dave, don't put yourself down like that. You're a super VIP bogan now. Excellent paintings by Dave. Thank you, D. Man, you rock. Megan Fox. Thank you, Jeremy Burtz. Yeah, we watched it. I thought it was a good movie. But at first I was like, are these turtles going to be like... And then it occurred to me that April O'Neil is a redhead, and they didn't make her black. I mean, they didn't keep the red hair, but you know, halfway there. Mortal V says, not member. What was the term? What does that mean? Oh, Mortal V, it sucks being a member account excludes you from getting any of these. Not being a member account? I guess I could just buy my own, maybe. Yeah, I'm going to do a little video. People some people don't know where you can turn on the ability to be gifted members. It's like you got to go to, I think you got to go to the homepage of the channel, and then it's a whole thing. It's not easy to find. But yeah, I'll do a little video on that, like I did with the how to raid stuff. Pork Hunt says, I thought Michael Bay refused to work with Megan Fox again because she called him literally Hitler. Yeah, I would probably refuse to work with her again. She was like, she was oddly cast. I think she was too pretty for that role. You know? I don't know. Ken says, don't show him that. I think it was the only one on the streaming service that he was looking on. So he still hasn't seen the original Ninja Turtles. I don't know if it's like too old now. And D says YouTube has not made it easy. No, they definitely haven't. All right, I'm pretty happy with this. How this looks. I might do a few more. Keep going up. You can see what it looks like here. See, it's just like just goes up like that. It's, yeah, we know the song Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go. They love dancing to that. Well, Clark does. Victoria's getting a bit older now. But yeah. Good stuff. I loved that movie when I was a kid. My God. I was obsessed with the Turtles. The Turtles is what got me into drawing, actually. Which is why it was so cool to win that Turtles competition when I was older, because I was like, that's what started this whole thing. I still can't believe I did that sometimes. And I still think I made a t-shirt called The Four Ronin, and it was the Ninja Turtles. It was the Ninja Turtles in samurais, as samurais. And like it was what was it? Judged. It was judged by Kevin Eastman. And then miraculously, a few years later, The Last Ronin comes out. Yeah. Just saying. Where are my royalties? Who wrote that? Was that Mark Miller? I can't remember. I didn't read it. Apparently it's awesome. I should probably read it. Vicious Stink says, I bet Vicky has never even been in an underground skull pit. I have. I made Mel's parents drive me out to this dodgy part of Paris. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's like the dodgy parts of Paris are like proper dodgy. People get robbed. I mean, I guess it's probably like a lot of US cities. Not like Australian safe cities. But yeah, I made them drive me out there, and I waited in this line, and it was like 6 o'clock in the morning or something, because I thought I want to get there before the tourists. Nah, there were tourists. There were plenty of them. And Vicky is here, and he says, "Nah, you're wrong. She has been into an underground skull pit." And there you go. Well, you speak from experience. And Ken says, my favorite Ninja Turtles animated series is the one from 2003. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that. I may have. I don't know. Can't remember. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so it's just this nondescript building. Doesn't look like anything. There's just one sign that's saying catacomb or whatever. And then you go down, and they'll explain to you, what's going to happen. You walk into this room, and it's just a spiral staircase, and it's really thin, like old school. When like people used to be really skinny and small back in the day. And yeah, you start walking down this spiral staircase, and it only is like it's as wide as your shoulders, and you're walking down. There's someone in front of you. There's someone behind you. So if you fell down, it'd be like dominoes. And it goes down for ages. And then you end up in ancient Roman tunnels. And they're friggin' awesome. They really are. Like, you go through these tunnels that were dug out, probably 2,000 years ago. I don't know, like real old. And then it ends up coming out to this like big expansive tunnel. It's super cool. And that's what leads you into the catacombs. And it's like there's a sign there, and it says, what does it say? Arrête ici et l'Empire de Mort, something like that. Here, stop. Here is the Empire of the Dead. It's super cool. And then you just walk around. And it's just like this. It's just like skulls everywhere. And you think it's just the walls. And I remember stopping once. I wasn't with the I didn't choose to stay with the like tour or whatever. I just like wandered around by myself. But I saw one of the guys was pointing a flat, like a torch, what do you guys call them? A flashlight over the top of them. And yeah, it went for ages. It went as far as the light could shine, just bones. It was 6 feet high, as far as the light could shine. It was great. I was like, yeah, I'm definitely including this in my story somehow. And here we are. All these years later, I'm finally drawing it. I've been dreading these damn skulls for probably 8 years or something. J Max says hobos live in there. I bet probably it'd be a good place to stay. I reckon. It is a bit manky though. What are you guys saying? Talking about Ninja Turtles. Vic's unused scanner. Did you get so many skulls by using a scanner? I drew the majority of them, but I also like if there was like a shape that was the same, I would copy and paste and then just move things around a little bit so that it doesn't look so copied. But yeah, I think it's fun. It has the appearance that they're all hand drawn. D says the Romans killed a lot of Gauls. They did indeed. But what did the Romans ever do for us? Well, they built the roads and the aqueducts. Introduced literature and poetry and all sorts of stuff. Well, I'm sure they had poetry before then, but you know what I mean. Mo says Bancroft borrowed Camel's skull brush. Never. I use one brush. I'm a one brush man. Just ask Mel. All right. Oh, hang on. Yep. That. Just sort of fading it out a bit. Yeah, I think this is coming along well. It's going to take forever, but oh well, it's taken forever to get here anyway. I don't mind doing that on a handful of pages in a book because I think these are the pages that people sort of remember and talk about and share. So you spend like a long time on one page. And I remember I did this page. I was doing this page along with the Paris page and all this stuff. And I was just feeling so down because I hadn't finished a page in forever. So a couple of weeks ago, I just was like, I need to accomplish something. So I sat down here in the cottage on a Sunday and just did a page, knocked it out. Because it didn't require that. Obviously didn't require anything like this. And it just felt so yeah, like I needed that. I needed to get another just need to get a page done. Yeah, I'm a hairdresser doing fade-ins here. You're right, 7. I think that's pretty good. And I could probably continue, but here, see, it does look a little flat over here compared to this. It's just that extra dimension. I don't think it's taking like too much away in terms of like it's not fighting for the thing because like this guy's surrounded in a lot of black. So he's pretty he's pretty framed there. That was done on purpose. What I like to do is this. I got this set up. If anyone uses Photoshop, it's a great little trick. What you do is you set your what is it? View proof colors, proof setup to the color mode dot gain 30%. It's the best way to quickly see it in black and white. And that's how you can sort of check your values. You shut up, Shane. He says it needs more skulls. There's enough skulls, Shane. No more. But yeah, you can sort of like, that's how you can check your values. Eric Canetti was the one who really like beat it into me. Values is everything. I sort of, that's like one area where I feel like I was kind of like, people like the colors on Waking Dream, but I feel like that's sort of where I might have, yeah, missed the mark a little bit, was on the values. But I learned a lot about that doing Replicator 3. Beat what into you, asked Model V, that you have to be mindful of your lights, your darks, and your midtones, and how it all works together. But it's super easy in Photoshop. You just have it set up as a Command Y, and you can just flick back and forth. Check your work. You can also set it up like you can have it with CMYK. So this is me flicking between CMYK. You probably can't hardly see anything. There's slight zoom in here. There's like you lose a tiny amount of vibrancy, but I mean nothing major. So if you're working in colors, you should always like work in RGB, but you set it to the screen, the proof is in CMYK, so you can check, make sure you're using colors that aren't outside of the gamut, the printable gamut. Shane says you should sell Get Your Skull Drawn In tier. That man, see, that's why Shane makes the big bucks. I did that, Shane, with the Eiffel Tower, although I didn't charge anyone. It was just a fun stream. But I was drawing everyone in the chat in the Eiffel Tower scene. You're in there. Everyone's in there. 7 of 9 is definitely in there. He's got his pixels. Most people here in the chat are in there. They'll have to remember for themselves. But yeah, I totally should have done that. Like, this will be you know, as a skull. As a, yeah. Cullen says my boat isn't. It's coming. Cullen, maybe it's coming. I don't know. But I'm going to be mindful here because, yeah, you can sort of see. Can you guys see where I haven't really done much work on these skulls? Like I tried to give them slightly different colors just so they weren't so uniform here. So I actually didn't need to light all that in, but I wanted to check it out. I wanted to make sure that I like the effect. So I can actually just go off to the side here now. I can actually show you guys the page so that you know what the hell I'm talking about. Pete Cullen missed his Eiffel Tower appearance. I'm sorry, man. You can claim someone. You know, no one's going to know. They're just little pixels. Mel's upset with me because she said I drew her like a potato sack. You know. All right. What am I sharing? Stopping this. Sharing this. So there you go. That's the page. So you can see, yeah, top-down view. And that leads in from the previous page. The previous page is, it's like a zoomed out of the street. And then the next panel down, it's more zoomed in on the building. And then you go into the building. Remember the scene where Ella's in the library? It's the top-down view of that library. And then it goes down, and it's the top-down view of the people training. They're fighting. And then you go down, and you see the hole that sits above this pit. You go down again, you see the pit, and now you're on this page, and it's a close-up, and then you see him come out of the pit, emerge in all his viscous glory. And yeah, so you can see like all that I just colored, like you can't see hardly any of it. So, but that's all right. When I turn it into a print, I won't have this stuff there. If I turn it into a print or a puzzle or whatever. Viscous Stink says, what does the pit smell like? Use your imagination. viscous. What is viscous red discarded fluids smell like? You know, that's that's probably a good idea that we don't have. What is that? Smeller. We can't smell our stories. Wasn't that in Futurama? Smell-o-vision. Colin says strawberry. Yeah, let's go with that. It's a big strawberry pit. It's cranberry pit. You know they do that. They do that with cranberries, don't they? They you know, they get into a big barrel and like walk around on them. I'm sure that's cranberries. That's all this is. The skulls are just decorations. Cullen says a scratch and sniff is a great goal. I've never I've never backed a scratch and sniff book before. That is true. We're definitely one of a kind. Pen's too bright. D says the Japanese are working on it. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the ethos on Twitch when they can create that? I mean, I can't. I don't partake in any of that. Like I said, I'm a one brush man. I'll zoom in a bit here, getting a bit. See, I don't like that. On. Undo. Shane wants to know if I hid sex in the skulls. No. I'm not down with that vulgarity, Shane. Vulgarity. Besides, that's Ethan's shtick. Why is my chat on YouTube not like usually the I've got a pop-up chat here. Usually that's way ahead. And now it's the StreamYard chat, which is ahead, and this one isn't updating. The hell is going on? Have I got it set to like top chat or something? Must be. Oh, you know what it is? It's set to top chat and it hid Shane's sex comment. You were censored, Shane. Oh, well. The eternal struggle when doing digital art is trying not to zoom in. You think you're going to do better if you zoom in. You think you're going to be more accurate. You don't need to be. Like, you really don't need to be. I learned that from Kelsey. Like, Kelsey is the master of that stuff. Loose lines that looks like they're perfect and everything's perfect. When you actually inspect it, it's super loose. I'm not anywhere near where I need to be for that yet, but he's the guy for that. See, like, that's how big it's going to look. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to get it. See, I don't even know what I'm doing here with this skull. How do you light this skull? Who knows? I don't know. Just wing it. Doesn't matter. Shane says Kelsey likes loose women. I don't hold that against him. It's a hard life being an artist, especially a highly, coveted artist. Someone everyone wants to do covers, He needs to unwind at the end of a long day. And he doesn't want any complications. I don't begrudge him. He was streaming the other day. It's amazing. Although I think I put out a video right over the top of it. I have a schedule to keep, Kelsey. I wait for no man. Paul says, I would hide the word bogan. I did hide, I don't know if you guys saw it. In Waking Dream in Ella's bedroom, there's a book in there, and I hid how to draw hands on the book. That's what I get up to. That's how I get my kicks. You know, I don't even think it was visible in the printed edition. It was so small like that. Oh, that's why I'm a mad lad. You know, I make stuff that people, you can't even see it. Kelsey does so well with extreme perspectives. Yeah, maybe that's my next mountain to climb. I don't really do like super extreme perspectives. Like I'm not fantastic at foreshortening, or if I've done foreshortening well, but there's been a lot of reference involved, a lot of, you know, like looking at photos, and so it's not like just something I came up with by myself. Like I found a similar position, or like for Ella on actually, you know, on the front of Waking Dream, I actually had Mel, like I took a photograph of Mel's hand in that position so I could see where all the, you know, all the lines go and everything. And then on top of that, like building perspectives, I usually just stick to the, you know, the normal things, I suppose. No, like really stretched out fisheye stuff or anything like that. It's a bit above my pay grade at the moment, but you know, if something calls for that, I won't ever shy away from it. If I really think the story requires it, I'll do it. I'll just figure it out. People always want Shane. Shane, do you want to come on? I don't know. I always feel like, you know, when someone, like when another streamer is in the chat and everyone's like, oh, get in there. I don't know if they want to come on. If Shane wants to come on, he can come on. All right. So Marby Dog says he's asking for the link. Let me see Shane say it. I don't have the link. He might, like, you see, sometimes you're just drawing and you don't want to come on. I don't know. He said he doesn't have the link. That doesn't mean he wants it, you know? I know everyone wants him to get in there. Shane loves link. I'll wait. Yeah, because like I know what it's like. Sometimes it's the end of the night, you're just kicking back. All right, he says he'll come on. He says he'll come on and keep me company. He's recognizing my loneliness. I'm not lonely, I promise. Where is it? Shane Davis. I'll just put it in the old hang on. Share. Where is it? Invite. No, it's invite, not share. What is the name of? I think it's the Shane. Yeah. Is it the Baller Squad one? Oh, that'll do. It's going in there. Vicious says skull number 1596 looks a little off. Yeah, it probably does. Pete Cullen says, Bancroft, stop having your period. What do you mean, Pete? What does that mean? Up on the blocks? Oh, Pete says, unlike Mortal V, I'm all about peer pressure. D says, put it in here. I remember what happened last time, D. What was it? What was his name? Alyssa? The The naked Arabic gypsy trying to curse the channel. Yeah, I could do without that. Those are the days when I used to put the link in the chat. You know, the worst thing that would happen is Testify would come on and act a bit weird. We'd kick him. I got people trying to come on getting naked. Shane Davis.
How are you?
Good. I got to put headphones in now because it might start to echo on you. Hold on a sec.
I'm not hearing the echo.
No, it's good for like 10 minutes and then it kicks in. No, that's all right. Don't bother me. I saw you actually. Was it you who got a visit from the Arabic gypsy cursor?
Yeah.
Was it on the balls?
That guy, right?
Oh,
Not a woman.
Everything's not working.
Yeah. A guy thought what was the person's name we thought was a woman?
Alyssa. Alyssa, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely not Alyssa.
No. He was shirtless, had a t-shirt tied around his head. John just couldn't believe. He was still hanging on to hope. Little John, that there were attractive women. Not that there's not, but you know, that love John Malin, you know, saying this in the chat. He's like, give him the link. And I was like, all right.
Yeah, he's the one who wanted me to, like, encouraged me to give him a link the first time because he thought it would be a hot chick too.
Yeah.
But I told him it wasn't. It was a shirtless man.
Right.
He wrapped his t-shirt around his head, and he came on. And he was like, like that.
Yeah.
I was like,
he has a knife because I could watch him in the back room. He has like a little like kitchen knife, like kind of like you butter your bread. He's stabbing the camera. He was shirtless. He started lathering himself up with oil, and
you let him. You left. You just watched him in the backstage. I like banned him. I was like, I don't want to see it. It's distracting.
Yeah, I just left him and watched. I actually took a screenshot. So.
That's how I knew. I saw the screen grab in the DM group.
Yeah,
I was like,
it's like this guy. And then after the stream, I never let him on. He just hung out back there, and he was still Alyssa in the chat the whole time, like talking and wishing everybody well and commenting. And the whole time he's jumping around like with a razor, shaving himself, lathering himself up in oil.
That's the thing. You never know. These people seem so normal. Like they just have a normal avatar. They come across as so sane. And then you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. That's the thing.
Yeah. Share it, Shane, damn it. Like what? You guys, I don't know.
Is that like taboo to share the...
I don't think so.
Antoine says he's doing that right now. Yeah, Alyssa came back into the chat the other day after that saying, check your emails to me. Apparently, he's been sending me emails. I didn't check them.
Yeah, John evidently was getting a bunch of emails that he wasn't happy about.
I think my wife just blocked him. Yeah, you can block on emails too, I think.
Mm-hmm. Let me see if I can't find this.
But my email is public. Like that's my crowdfunding email. You know, I share that around. I got no problem with that. If I have to get rid of it and get a new one, it's no issue. You know, it's just a Gmail.
Wait, let me.
Frequency Girl says, thanks for the membership gift. What a nice surprise to wake up to. Well, you're very welcome, Frequency Girl. That goes out to D here in the chat, my incredibly generous benefactor here. And I got 2 new pages, inked pages to show off from Rod. I usually share them once a week. So I just checked today. I think the last time I shared one was 5 days ago. So expect a new page. Only if you want to see it. It'll be in the member area in a couple of days. But thank you for the super chat as well.
So I popped Alyssa on for 2 seconds. So technically I'm not showing anything that Alyssa didn't show themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Okay,
just
yeah,
I
yeah.
included them. So technically, this is what.
They wanted to come on. He
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah,
come
yeah.
on.
Well, he technically
Like this.
did come on. There you go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what I saw. and it's not static. He's like moving around and doing all
Yeah.
sorts of stuff.
So,
Yeah.
you know, let it be known Alyssa is not Alyssa. You know, that's it.
It's not
That's
like
it. That's
what
all
are
it
the
is.
like what's our strike rate for like people who come into the chat with attractive female avatars who actually are attractive females? Has there ever been any?
If it's my chat, it's like 99% they're all attractive females in my chat. Your chat, I don't know.
Yeah. Because there was Armor Guard. I don't know if you're familiar with Armor Guard. But I was on John's once. She was in the chat, and John was really happy to have her there because her avatar is a very pretty young lady.
Yeah.
Sorry, his avatar is a very
Yeah.
pretty young lady.
I
And-
thought I asked Armagod one time. I was like, "You?" And she's like, or they, or whatever. That she's like, "Yeah, that's me a long time ago. I'm older now." Like, so she did the. Yeah, I used to look like that. Like I'm older now. Like she really she sold it pretty well. Like I even
I've seen I'll just keep using her because it's not conclusive. I don't want to I don't want to be one of those people who's sees one thing on the internet and just says, oh, that's like totally BS. But Armor Guard is in the chat going, I'm definitely a girl. You guys are all crazy. Really selling it hard. So I was like, all right, I'll give the benefit of the doubt. And then I think it was Ryan Johnson, who's a bit of a meme maker and investigative CG journalist, found Armor Guard's old YouTube channel, which is nothing but a person walking around, I think New York or somewhere, with a camera at like chest height, but it only ever points forward, so you never see anything. And they obviously like looked through a bit of it and waited until a bus drove in front, like right there, and there was like a dark, the glass on the door, it was dark, so it had a mirror effect, and we got to see who was holding the camera. It was definitely,
I think I saw John cry about this on stream.
Yeah, it was definitely I don't want to say like 100% male, but they were big hands, and like chunky, and I think they were black. Armor Guard's like avatar is not a black lady. Automatically, like there's a disconnect, Yeah. And so
they're saying they saw hands. I don't get the point of doing that. Is it just a dude trolling a bunch of guys, or like I don't get it.
Well, I've never done it, so yeah.
You're like, I'm not.
I guess. I mean, look, it works in terms of like we know who Armor Guard is. We know who Alyssa is. If you want to stand out in the chat, it's a pretty quick and easy way to get the job done, I suppose. I don't know what the end goal might be, but I
had
their own.
A friend, well, not much of a friend. It was like an in-law, so it was like friend through family. Like, I don't know if I would ever be friends with this person, but so I had to be their friend. Anyways, he had a graphics company. So he was like, I'm not getting enough work. I don't know how to price things, whatever. He was, kind of trying to get up off the ground, do windows for businesses and stuff. And he goes, so he went to Craigslist and started doing job postings like he was hiring, just to see what his competition in the area was or whatever, right? And so he just started messing with people to see how desperate they are. And he was like, yeah, this job doesn't pay anything, and they would still send her portfolios and stuff or look for the work or whatever. And at one point in time, he's like, yeah, you can get the job if you wash my truck. And they were still like trying to send their
Graphics jobs.
Yeah. He was like, this doesn't pay and you have to wash my truck, but I'll hire you. And they were still doing it. So, I mean, I think some people would catfish just to, you know, he at least was doing it for money and business, though. Like, this is.
Look, I don't pretend to understand it. Just is what it is. Pete Callan says, are you saying I have to be a lady now? Damn. You don't have to be, Pete, but it would help. Shane muted himself.
Did I mute myself?
Yeah. You like just cut off, and I was like, I don't know what happened.
Oh, no.
Cullen says, what kind of sick freak would put a fake face on their avatar? Let's just pull that up there.
Yeah.
That's some good Photoshop, Cullen. I actually made an emoji out of that, and then I decided, nah, that might be like a step too far in like self-deprecation. Egg face, egg man.
My mic might be picking up through the wrong mic. Hang on. How far?
Muted again. Vanessa says, Shane, fix your mic, bro.
Yes. How far along are you on the sequel to this?
I honestly don't know. What I'm doing is I'm doing all the hard, really detailed stuff first. Kids just kind of get it out of the way. Like I can.
Are you committing?
If I was working
yet, like, are you committed to a certain?
Yes,
page?
it's all
Okay.
like the book is all laid out, done, like in terms of laid out and what is it, like thumbnailed and everything.
Yeah.
Like there's, I think I've got 78 pages fully drawn. And then I've got like about another 15 or so to go. But I just don't know, Shane, because of the whole, like, you know, some days I'm like doing my day job and I'm like starting at 6 and working till 6. This is like all that time I could be doing this, but I'm not. So yeah, it's really frustrating. And I've never been able to like really like forecast how long stuff takes me because of that.
That makes sense.
Because, you know, you can, the other, I was saying before you came on, I was getting so frustrated that I hadn't finished a page in a while because I don't really like, I didn't just do a page and then move on and do another page. I jump from thing to thing to sort of keep myself motivated.
Yeah.
And like whatever I feel like working on at the time. Sometimes it's like after a hard day's work, I just like, oh, I really can't like draw something that has to look really good here. So I'll just do background stuff that I find super easy. But yeah, I've been doing all this really hard stuff and then I just hadn't finished a page in ages. So I just, one day I was like, screw it. I just need to finish a page. So I sat down and did a whole page in a day, which I never get to do. And I was just like, oh, damn, that would be so good to just, you know, be able to do this regularly. I could finish my book so much quicker. But, you know, that's what I'm working towards it. I just feel like he's always muting himself. I was like, Awesome says Shane's putting Bancroft to sleep. No.
Yanzi stepped in. We're having like some troublemakers on our campaign.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So sorry, I had to mute myself. Like,
no, that's all. It's fine.
She's mad.
Trolls? What is it?
Yeah, Lepresti had mentioned something about it, but there's people that will come in and back your campaign to refund it and back it and refund it, and they're just trying to cause chargebacks.
Do you pay them or does Indiegogo pay them?
I think in the end, I end up with the chargeback fee.
Oh, no goody.
So in the end, it's just a way of somebody like stealing your money. I mean, they don't get the money; they just end up like costing you money. Because it was happening to Aaron, so I'm pretty sure there'll be a fake Kickstarter that goes up right after my campaign goes down.
Yeah. Is there a way, I was thinking about this the other day. Is there a way that we can just open Kickstarter campaigns? But you open your Indiegogo campaign, but you don't put it up yet.
Yeah, I was
just
thinking
say
about that.
Thingo. I think we should all do that.
Just as a precaution.
Yeah, it'll just make it so that they won't be able. I mean, I presume, I would hope so. They wouldn't be able to make secondary ones if there's already one up that's existing. Sorry, even if it's just sitting in the back end. I don't know if we can do that.
No, I was thinking about that. Then I got distracted with something else actually. I don't know anything about Kickstarter. I guess you have to kind of go and submit it for approval, and I assume a human looks over it. I don't know. Like sometimes I think a lot of this stuff is automated. I'd hate to go to all that trouble and just to have a campaign that you don't hit live on, just to turn around and like it's just here's your campaign anyways with a different name.
I think they got rid of the whole like checking it thing beforehand, but I don't know that. That's what I thought happened. I do know that people do look at it because they sort the projects we love thing according to what they want to promote.
See, that one's weird because the person that used to be there, Camilla Zong, I mean, I heard her at a party taking a lot of credit, about gatekeeping Comicsgate and keeping Zach off and stuff. Like, whether she was doing it or not, she wanted people in the room to think that's what she did.
Yeah.
I'll never know what she actually did because, I knew her back when she worked at DC and she was an assistant for Mark Chiarello, the art director of DC. Like, I've never really understood her skill set besides she just wanted to be in comics.
She's like establishing herself as a crowdfunding expert.
Yeah.
That's her shtick.
But I assumed if she was an assistant of the art director that maybe she had some art background, but again, I've never heard of any evidence of that. So whatever. Anyways, back to her. I when they got rid of her, I thought they hired somebody else in their place. Like, and I remember something about the person reading an article, and it sounded like Camilla Zong too. Like it just sounded.
Yeah, I know. I remember her, but I think they didn't last long. I seem to recall them leaving very shortly after. I think Kickstarter ended up restructuring, but I mean, I could be completely speaking out of my ass here.
I have no idea. I don't usually like the way Kickstarter is set up, so I don't really look at Kickstarter that much. But I think the last time I've been on Kickstarter was looking at Graham's campaign. I don't even think I've ever backed a Kickstarter. And not for any real reason. There's just not anything there I liked. There's I don't like the layout. I don't know.
No, it's so old fashioned, antiquated, and that's the fact that it's antiquated is one of the reasons that it's just a hive of like a den of fraud. Let me grab this super chat here. Shane, I will deglove these enemies of yours, says Pete Cullen.
I don't think you can do anything like.
Yeah, I don't know what you can. Yeah, it's like.
It's funny though they're doing this as my campaign goes down, so I'd have to go look at the campaign, the numbers. I guess she said somebody backed us 5 times and refunded 5 times.
That's what happened with Reenie. Remember, they waited until it was like down before they started bad mouthing her, so that like you couldn't monetize their shenanigans.
Yeah.
Antoine says, "Wouldn't you have to launch it, Michael?" Well, I don't know, but on Indiegogo, I've got my, and you would have yours as well, Antoine. Your sign up page. You have to actually, you don't just create a sign up page, you create a campaign. So I've got a campaign called Painted Death. I don't have to launch it ever. There's no obligation or anything. I don't know if it's the same thing on Kickstarter. Sultan of Zanzibar with a Super Bogan chat says, to help creators protect against fakes, could launch on both platforms to claim your spot. What about watermarking campaign images with only on Indiegogo? What I was like, as a Photoshop guy, like watermarks always seem to me like, I've never found a watermark I can't get past. I can't get off. But you have to know how to do that, and we shouldn't have to do that. I don't think.
So I haven't talked to you about the Eric July thing, but I know you've talked about it and stuff quite a bit. But it seems like there's a little bit of positive energy in the air right now in CG and crowdfunding altogether.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And this whole business with PayPal, while annoying, actually doesn't sound as bad as what it first did when I first saw it. I mean, it looked really scary when I first saw it, which is like, PayPal seizes $1 million, but it's just like, we're not going to give you that money until you send them the stuff.
Yeah, there's actually a big SJW, Yanti was telling me, that sold a bunch of merch, and she sold about $80,000, maybe of plushies or something like that, and they did the same thing to her.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm not sure it's political or anything.
They are notoriously, I think, like SJW minded, but yeah, in this case, I think you're probably right. I think it's just they're not going to give Eric the benefit of the doubt on this one, and they clearly don't like the whole pre-order business thing. They're like, if you sell something, if you get money, you send it out now, and that's what they're doing. So he has the money, thankfully, from all the other backers to be able to produce whatever he needs to produce. He's already produced like a whole bunch of it already, so he'll just do that and get it out.
I wonder if that's why he actually printed those books up, was to prevent this. I think he did some measures trying to prevent this from happening.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I think he wanted to do it anyway. I mean, it's like he wanted to, and I think it was real clever that he did, considering how massive it's gotten. Like, even though he didn't print everything, he printed a lot, so it still is a bit of a less of a headache. But it's just like, I think it's really helped with the kind of quote unquote normies to know that I'm actually buying something that already exists.
Yeah,
they haven't crowdfunded yet. So
the thing though is, I've heard this term, but it's considered crowd selling, not crowd funded, because it's already done.
Yes, right? Yes. I know. I always fall back and call it crowdfunding. It's definitely not crowdfunding. It's like people go, because I think it still is crowdfunding if you pay for it up front in terms of the production of the thing, like a production of the art and everything, or you do it yourself, and then you crowdfund the printing, and at the same time you take in the shipping as well. So I still think that does still qualify as crowdfunding, but it's sort of like you're moving further away from the original idea of crowdfunding. But what Eric is doing is, definitely not crowdfunding. It's pre-orders. But I do like the idea of calling it crowd selling, because he's doing the whole like transparency thing. He's running a campaign. So it's sort of like, it's like the mix of two.
It's definitely a hybrid. What's interesting though is, like, he basically got completely around, especially since the thing's already produced and printed around the whole Marvel DC direct market thing altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Like, which we kind of do, but like, you know, we're still like working on the book. You know, like it's like in some of the numbers, if I heard like he sold like, I don't know if this is true, like 46,000. Is that true?
I would, yeah, I would think more because he sold to 35,000 purchases,
Right.
and yeah, I would think more. You know what it's like. How many people
Well, those
who back
numbers,
your campaigns back, uh, more than one book? It's a lot of people.
yeah, I pretty much have like, or I'm rounding up, like getting, maybe I'll end on 3,000 backers or something. I don't know. But like, yeah, people buy multiple books, but I'm selling like 2 books. So sometimes a lot of people are just going in and backing at once and getting like, actually my campaign has 3 books if you count Starlight Cat. So I have a lot of people that just went in and bought all 3 in one backing. So it's kind of hard to get until I get the final print numbers. I really, you know, we crunch our data after I close this week. I won't know how many actual physical copies I sold until I go to print. So like, he's probably in the same boat, I assume. Like, he's got to process all these orders, and I mean, dude, that's a shit ton of product, you know, for him.
Yeah, like he's gonna need. I said at first I thought minimum 10 full-time staff.
Right.
And then during the fulfillment phase of his campaigns, he's going to have to bring on minimum another 20 casuals, maybe more.
So,
but he's going to need at least 30 people working on this to get this out at any sort of rate.
But here's the thing, and I don't know where he lives, and I'm not trying to get into that, but depending on where you're at, your post office can only handle so much. And you can call in a delivery and stuff or a pickup, but I mean, you guys still got to store that stuff. And even if they come in and pick it up, it's like they're going to come in on whatever truck to pick that up. And if they can only pick up so much that day. So it's like he's at some point in time with what he's doing, like the post office, again, this is wherever you live. Like, you're limited by the resources of that post office hub. Like, if he's next to a big, because I moved, I have a bigger post office now. Like, before, when I was fulfilling Starlight Cats, like, I filled up the whole back room of the post office, and like, we can't take any more today. Like, there was just no room to turn around back there. It was just crazy.
Swiftbird says he's in Dallas area. So, I mean, most major cities will have
a big hub.
Will have a hub.
Yeah.
You have to take it. You have to get a truck. Like he remember one of his stretch goals was like, I'll get a van.
Yeah.
He's going to need a truck. And they'll be taking orders daily on a truck to a postal hub. Ours here is actually at the airport. So that's like, if you got like massive amounts of orders, they'll go out to the airport, even if they're staying domestic shipments.
It's so crazy. I dropped stuff off, like hats, and people had them the next day, and I dropped them off like in the afternoon. I don't even understand how this stuff moves so quick, but it definitely seems like, at least this time of year, the postal service is pretty fast.
Yeah, we don't have anything like that going on here. We have next day express delivery that sometimes doesn't even work. So
yeah.
People are 709 wants to know how big is Cecil's workforce.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question. I'm kind of curious though, like is he gonna change the way he does things on his second campaign? Like, or like, if anything from this, it's gotta have an effect on how he moves forward.
I think he's definitely gonna print more books
ahead of time.
Yeah, because he was saying Nerdrotic was telling him like times it by 5, because he got 5,000 of each books printed. I think it was 5. I can't remember the exact number. It doesn't matter. He was saying, talking to Nerdrotic, and Nerdrotic is like, no, you're gonna need a lot more than that. And he's like, no, I think I'll be good. And yeah, well, he was proven right. I think he'll print a lot more books beforehand.
Hang on, Nerdrotic was pulling this, basing this information off of like his popularity or working in a comic shop, or
I'm guessing. I mean, I don't know. I mean, everyone had opinions like beforehand. Like, I don't know if Nerdrotic like kind of knew how big this would be, or if he was underselling it. I knew it would be big. I didn't think it'd be like this.
So
like, this is,
as long as I've worked in comics and I've known people that deal with warehouse costs and printing, like Bob Wayne, who used to do all the sales stuff and retailer stuff for DC Comics for like years until he retired, basically. They've always acted like it's better to need to go to a second print than it is to print too much of something that sits in a warehouse. Now, I've heard a lot of retailers, when a book sells out, and I was talking to Ethan about this last night, they would right away complain, well, why didn't you know this would be popular? Why do I have to wait 2 weeks? Because in 2 weeks, those customers move on to something else. So, you know, the retailers are always like, Marvel and DC should just take the risk and they should always overprint, and they should always be in a warehouse. You know, and that some people argue that's what actually holds the American comic book industry back in some weird whatever, you know, like argument. But still, I've always heard people at Marvel and DC say, like, you know, it's better to, again, have like printed too little and need to go back to second print, third print, fourth print, whatever, than it is to have to pay, I guess, like warehouse costs just for this stuff sitting there.
Yeah, because the numbers we're talking, no one in like this sort of do-it-yourself indie sphere is anywhere close. So it's like he's in all new territory. I don't know. I don't know how he would prefer to do it. I guess it depends on like how quickly he can get the reprints made. How close is he with the printers? How long does it all take and everything? But you know, even like John was saying like he'll make $500,000 or something before the campaign started, and then he launched that sign up thing 2 days before going live and got like 20 or 30,000 sign-ups. So it was at that point everyone's like, oh no, this is much bigger than 500,000. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of things he'll learn from it. I mean, he only said he only went with PayPal because people were really asking for it. I don't know if he'll go with PayPal again. All of the sort of big time YouTube culture war people who make obscene amounts of money, like Tim Pool and you know, other people like that, they have they don't use PayPal, they use some other thing, and maybe he'll go with them this time. I don't know, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Like, I did a video today about how, I mean, we're all celebrating 35,000 or potentially up to 35,000 new comic book readers coming in to indie comics, which is, you know, unprecedented. And but we also need to expect, like, you know, this could be the spark that, you know, begins the gold rush of you know, people wanting to come in and do this. I said on a video a couple of days ago how in 2005 there was this guy who just came in out of the blue and won the World Series of Poker, and it kicked off a global poker boom that lasted almost 2 decades. And, you know, poker went from like a game that had only a few people played to this global thing with TV and everything like that. And like now we've got Gabe and Eric on Fox, and they're getting write-ups in all these major things. Yeah, this could, I don't know, this could change everything. We'll see.
I kind of wonder how many people with a big channel and stuff are going to try coming in and just plopping out a book, whether because there was already talks of some I'm not gonna name that they were like, I'm gonna do a book, and I'm like, I don't even know if you're in to comics, period. Like, I mean, like, there's actually some other big YouTubers, not as big as Eric, but I know for a fact they've tweeted out like, hey, here's a book of mine I have in the works, you know. And I'm like, still, I'm kind of like, I don't know if are you even into comics, or you just doing a comic because you see the money CG makes?
If you, I mean, there has to be some kind of connection. Like even with Tug. So Tug started in CG.
Right.
And you know, he was promoting CG books. I think I was actually the last book he ever promoted. Waking Dream was the last one he ever like had on a stream to do before he just decided he wanted to build his channel. But even the Amber Heard stuff, there's still a sort of connection. There's a cancel culture connection there. So it's still within the realm of the culture war. And it's and he's the whole time, like if you follow him on Twitter, he's still very much involved in comics. And his channel now is like absolutely dwarfs Eric July, like in terms of views. It's just like, I mean, I think it's like 6 or so times bigger than Eric July's reach. But yeah, his book isn't making 3 million, and like that's kind of, you take that lesson. Who's the guy? Damn drops.
Damn drop. Yeah,
I don't even know who that is.
The book. He did a book with him, right? And it didn't fund anything. And he had like a million views of it. Yeah. You know, like a million subs. I'm sorry, not a million views, like a million subs or something.
Yeah. I'm actually doing a video on this tomorrow. I did one today about building your channel. And I'm going to do one tomorrow about like the reason why that Dame drops, like, well, not about him specifically, but why, it's not just enough to like have a big audience and, you know, repeat what Ripper did. Like, like Ripper's been building to this for a long time.
Yeah.
And
well, he's been a big critic. He's been a big critic of woke comics, period. You know, like, and I was thinking about that, and I'm like, you know, it's probably a lot of people that agreed with him that, you know, everything he said, you know, about the pandering or, you know, race swapping, and then, you know, like they're just here to see him make a comic like that. There's probably a lot of people that's agreed with him about things that Marvel and DC have been doing that are backing this book. I don't even have 7,000 subs on my channel. Like, I mean, which that's pretty okay for a comic YouTube, and it's pretty good for a CG channel. But I have to assume that the people I see on my channel and in my chat that they're backers, and do I want a bigger channel? Sure, but not at the expense of losing backers. So I don't know.
Yeah, the guys like you and me, we're like, we have our channels so that we have a way to be part of the community and promote our books. That's the reason. Whereas I think other people, it's like the channel is kind of their day job, and you know, some of them can leverage it really well to make comics. And I don't know Eric closely enough to know if this was his dream all along, or it's just like an idea he came up with a few years ago. I don't know, but yeah, there is a bit of a difference there. Someone made a great point. Like guys like Tug, guys like Eric, you know, they bring a lot of normies into the indie sphere. So yeah, big props to those guys. Urashima for 2 drops didn't promote the book on his own channel. I mean, that sounds funny to me, but if I think about it, if his channel has nothing at all to do with comics or the culture war, I don't know what his channel is. It's cooking or something, isn't it?
No, it's not.
in-
No, hang on. No, it's not even cooking. Like, let's set this straight. It's literally he goes to restaurants and eats fast food and then says whether it's good or not and goes, damn. Like, that's it. It's not
Right.
even a cooking channel. It's a dude that eats fast food.
I know this guy. Yes, okay, I know this guy. I've seen his videos before. Okay, yeah. So I mean,
But that,
like-
hang on. We're I don't want to lose this point. So, what do you think the relation between people eating fast food and reading comics are?
none.
Well,
Not to
there
say
you
that
go.
people who read comics do eat fast food. Yes. but
No,
it's
they
not
do,
like-
but people
like,
who read
it's-
comics are bagging and boarding their books and don't want anything to touch them. They're afraid to get fingerprints on them. You know?
No, if you put out a like a graph, you know, and you do one of those scatter point graph things to see if there's any sort of correlation between the audiences, no, I don't think there's going to be much. But in a guy like I said, even with Tug, and people might think, well, Amber Heard, what does that have to do with comics? Even on that, it's a bit like who's that guy, the Weeb Wars thing, the Mike, who was it, the voice actor who got cancelled, you know, like there's still a connection to the culture war. And Tug has always been about comics from before then, so it makes sense that he would be able to promote his comic to his audience. And even though, you know, a lot of the ladies who are only there to like support Johnny Depp probably won't be interested, he'll still catch a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, this actually looks pretty cool. I can see this working. And on top of all the you know, CGs that he already had on his channel, so it would work for him. Obviously, clearly, whoever's in Eric July's audiences, is like they're super invested in Eric's success as a comic book creator. But yeah, look, I didn't even know if it would have helped if Dame Drops would have promoted it on his channel. Like maybe he would have gotten a couple of hundred backers, maybe, but maybe not.
So the biggest YouTube video I've ever had since YouTube has been a 30,000 view video about Coca-Cola against white people. How many comics do you think I sold off of that video? 30,000 people watched it. I'm selling a book.
Like not many. Is that the answer? Or
no, none, zero,
none. Yeah,
no, none. So it's like there was some YouTuber, and this is because I watched her video today about, you know, building a channel and, you know, doing things that, you know, do something different to get views and stuff. I think if you're trying to crowdfund it, it's tricky because there was some other YouTuber that basically wanted to do like Pokemon videos, but nobody would watch. And then one day he's like, okay, I'm just gonna, you know, review snack treats, like lunch snack treats that, you know, you get at a grocery store and take, you know, on the go lunch. And his views went up like crazy. And he's like, well, I'm going to stop doing Pokemon videos, even though that's what I want to do because people watch this. With crowdfunding and trying to YouTube to sell comics, which is weird in general. I was thinking about that today. But it's like you still kind of need to, what we're talking about here, kind of circle something relevant to talk about to comics, like period.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like it's kind of like people are always like, I wish the Fandom Menace would make something because they kind of circle, they do that, but then they don't really make anything.
If Gary did what Ripper did, it would be enormous. Like it would be equal to or potentially even bigger. Like his channel is the Nerdrotic channel is a behemoth.
Yeah.
And it is really much more, I think, than Eric, who kind of delves into a lot of politics and libertarian stuff and all that sort of stuff. Like those guys are pretty much laser focused on comics and like pop culture movies and stuff like that. So
I had a friend at the gym bring this up to me, and he's like, "Oh, you know that guy on YouTube, you know?" And I'm like, okay. And he's like, you know, the black guy with the beard that's angry about comics. And I'm like, oh, that's how he sold this book.
Angry black guy.
The black guy that's angry talking about comics. That's what my friend said. And I was like, you mean Eric July? And he's like, yeah, that guy made $1 million. Did you hear about that? You're doing crowdfunding comics, right? And I'm like, yeah, but you know, he's kind of not really all there. This guy gets hit in the head a lot. But I mean, that's what people in comics that listen to comics, that's what they think about Eric, is like he's pointing out bullshit in American comics. And he's, when Marvel and DC race swap characters, they're hoping to catch him as a reader, because that's a demographic they think that they haven't hit yet. So they purposely gender swap characters to think that they're going to sell more comics to a black readership or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're going to make a character bisexual and they're going to sell comics to bisexual people automatically. It doesn't matter if the story's good, if the art's good. None of that matters. It just matters that you're going to just relate to this character all of a sudden because you guys, prefer the same type of sex. Like, it's really weird type of marketing that mainstream comics do. And I think a lot of Eric's popularity has to do with like him calling the bullshit out of it. That's just it. That's my, and it's funny how he was able to turn that into selling a shit ton of comics. Why I brought up how many did he sell is I think the number he's selling right now is probably, if I had to guess, he's going to be coming up on how many copies of maybe Justice League of America that DC Comics sells. And now here's what's really scary. I think by the time he does this, he may beat Justice League or get close to, like, maybe not Batman numbers, but maybe like a secondary Batman book number. And this is where it gets really interesting, is he's selling direct to customer. Whereas like DC sells, they're selling to retailers, and you don't know if the retailers sell through what they ordered.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible like Eric maybe will actually sell more copies of his book than Batman, which is considered the #1 selling book whenever they try to build the sales chart. It's kind of like the staple. It's the staple book they always say sells 100,000 copies, but that's them thinking it's 100,000 copies. It could actually sell like 60,000 copies
to the actual customer.
No, just to the actual retailer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't know if it sells 100,000. They just assume it sells 100,000, and then they know the ranking of every other book up under Batman. So from there, they build a hypothetical number of what units are sold. It's much worse. Yeah, so it could be a lot worse, or it could be better. Maybe Batman sells 200,000 copies and they're still going to say it sold 100,000 copies, and it's going to screw up the numbers on everything. So my point is, Eric, he could physically sell more copies, to direct to customer, whereas a retailer is having to bag and board these things and lug them to a convention for years. Plus Eric's not making people qualify. Like he's not having to do like a 1 in 25 cover or whatever. Yeah. He has variants and stuff, but it's not like, he's not.
We do variants. So take it or leave it.
Yeah, take it or leave it, which is pretty much what all crowdfunding books, I think, do. I can't go through every campaign, but I don't know.
The only one that I've seen is Kenneth. Kenneth does a
tier where you have to buy.
Yeah.
All 3 books, to get that cover. I think he is probably the only one that's done that now. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Brian Polito's done something similar. I don't know. But I mean, it's crazy. Like if you really start thinking about what he sold and the fact that his books aren't going to be sitting on shelves. Now, the other scary part about being a YouTuber selling comics is like, does somebody open all these Gemini mailers that they get? Like, or did somebody just back it because they want to support you? Which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't see that as a particularly bad thing. Like, there's going to be a percentage of people who do that anyway. But like, we'll never know. We'll never know. But I think there's going to be a lot of people that have never read a comic, or they haven't picked up a comic in 20 years. They definitely haven't bought one from the internet ever before.
Mm.
And if they like it, and let's all fingers crossed that it's awesome, yeah, maybe they'll stick around or go on the hunt for something else.
Here's the thing about comics. Everybody's always trying to build the world's greatest comic. And, kudos to them that they do it. But I think if people just set the bar as like, I'm not going to take a shit on paper and rub your face in it, like, you'll probably sell another comic. I don't think comics are that hard to like, just don't insult your reader. Just have a competent comic and you'll probably get a return customer. I mean, put a hook in there, give a cliffhanger ending that makes you want another book. So many comics today, I think it's really easy to give
they're
up.
trying to be Frank Miller.
Yeah, well, there's that, yeah. And so they're always deconstructing heroes, or then they're lecturing people. I think if you just do a fun comic, or just have fun making a comic and don't worry about lecturing.
Yeah, that's true. Like, when I got into comics, I was into Spider-Man as a kid. There are some that I do remember the story, like Craven's Last Hunt, some of the other storylines from Amazing back in the day. But yeah, I've got hundreds of Spider-Man comics back there, and I don't really remember any of them. I remember I enjoyed them.
Yeah.
But it's not like they were these, like these masterpieces of storytelling that, changed my life forever. They were just, they were these cool things that I enjoyed reading every month. You're right about that.
Comics have really gotten away from that too. Like, it's weird. Like, I understand how we got here, but it's so weird.
People are going to totally do that with this campaign. I already heard some people saying, like, do you think this comic is worth $3 million? I'm like, the comic wasn't $3 million. The comic is $35. It just sold that many like copies of it that it made $3 million, and it's probably going to make 10 or something. I don't know. But like the actual comic itself, it's, you're right. It probably just has to be a good, competent story that makes sense. I've already seen the art looks cool. It's all fine. Like, it doesn't have to reinvent the wheel. And in fact, it probably shouldn't, considering how many, potential new readers it's probably going to have.
Right. I mean, basically, I think all Eric has to do, especially with his YouTube, is look at what Marvel and DC are doing in their books and just purposely not do that, and he'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm actually doing something a bit like that. It's not, I didn't like do it on purpose, but I've got a female character, and she's similar to Ray in that, she starts off, when you meet her, she's like a chosen one type character who doesn't have he wasn't like in connection with her powers at the start of the story. But as opposed to Ray, who's just like, you flick a switch and all of a sudden she's like a Jedi master. I'm like, and this, like, again, this is all planned out and written and everything before I ever saw The Last Jedi. But like, she's gonna like suffer and fail and be shit for pretty much like the entire storyline until she's gone through enough and she's learned enough lessons and everything, and then finally she can start being cool and awesome and all that sort of jazz, which people are looking forward to. So I think like that's like, you just do the opposite of what of what Disney give us and you're fine.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat brings up a good point. He's like, issue 2 is the real barometer. I was thinking about that the other day, what his issue 2 would look like, because hypothetically it should do better, because even if he loses some readers, he's trying to again reach people that didn't back in the first time. So like, plus he has the old book to sell.
Mm.
I will
Yeah,
say
so
one thing.
maybe.
I will say one thing that I don't. He's that I think is a very good thing about crowdfunding that I appreciate is you can keep a very tight ship. Meaning, like, you don't have to overreach, hire a bunch of overhead, a bunch of lawyers and people like that. Yeah, I mean, I don't have to. I mean, I can keep, and you can too, because you draw your book. You can keep your expenses fairly small.
Hmm.
Now, with that said, you do need to reinvest. Like, I've already been buying and purchasing things that I need for book 2 of Inglorious Rex now, just so they would be ready. Because everybody's got different schedules. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm already investing in my next book, but at the same time, I still have very, very little overhead in Inglorious Rex too. Like, I mean, if I had to add it up, I probably only spent like maybe less than $4,000 on Inglorious Rex 2 when I launched that campaign. Like and I'll have everything I need. So that's the good thing about crowdfunding is you really can have a thing set up, at least on our level, with little to no expenses. Eric, on the other hand, he had to go build a website. He wanted the book all done up front and all this. He tied up a lot of his own capital and stuff, and he really benefited from it. But I don't know if everybody could do that. I don't know if I would advise everybody to do that.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't. I know guys in Comicsgate who have sunk $10,000 to $20,000 into their projects before they even start the crowdfund. And some of them it's paid off. Actually, one of them it paid off massively. I can say that's Joe Sontag with Reaper Destroyer.
Right.
He's sunk tons of money into that thing. Other guys, it's like they're still recouping costs. Kimasabi on the Company Men. Other guys, and I don't want to name names because I don't want to like look like I'm crapping on them or anything. But yeah, people have sunk a lot of money, and it just it didn't do much. So it's like, yeah, I would not advise that. I mean, unless you really know, because that's a massive gamble. Massive gamble.
No, it's
I'm the same. Like I didn't think I've invested any money at this point into Painted Death.
Yeah,
this early
I mean,
stage.
you're coloring yourself and stuff though. Like I still work with colorists, and I'm also getting covers and stuff ready for the next campaign because like I need it to be like people. If I just have, hey, here's my one cover, people are gonna be mad. I don't know. People want options. People want like now. I mean, I feel anyways like now people are expecting like like a Dale Keown cover and stuff because Dale waved it around. But people have expectations. Like they want something special when the campaign launches because they've already invested in like 2 campaigns of mine. So like,
yeah,
and they've funded successfully. So I feel like backers kind of have expectations. Like I had one of the main complaints on Inglorious Rex I had was people were mad that I didn't have stretch goals posted on day 1, or they started after 24 hours. And it's like, if I listed all my stretch goals and on what I thought I was going to sell, I would have probably blew through them like in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, that's the number one piece of advice I give to someone new is don't put your stretch goals up on day 1. Like wait, I tell them to wait a week or 2.
Yeah.
Especially if it's your first time, like
Right.
you don't know the pace of your campaign. And yeah, if you blast through 3 stretch goals, that's a complete waste. The whole point of a stretch goal is because you're going to need them in a week when no one's talking about your campaign all of a sudden. Like that's how you're going to get people to back.
Plus you could overload like, with expense. Like, what if I did blow through them and now I'm having to still add stuff? This happened on a completely different thing, a toy. I was talking about it with Ethan last night because it was crowdfunded like through HasLab. It's like a G.I. Joe tank, his tank. And they were basically begging people to get it if it got funded in 8 days, like that they would get something. No, they said if it didn't fund in 8 days, they were pulling it down. Like they were just like you could tell they didn't want to do this with low funding, so they were looking for an out because it was going to cost too much. And they blew through all their stretch goals, and they had mock-ups for these figures, and they just blew through them. It launched the beginning of July 4th. It's still up now. The last figure they added to it, it has like 3 figures added to it, and the last one they just did a hand drawing. They couldn't even like get a digital mock-up done, and they can't add anything else to it because they won't make a profit on it. Like it was never supposed to fund like it did. So if you're a crowdfunder and you put up all these stretch goals, one, you look kind of, it can be, somebody could look at you and laugh and be like, ha ha ha, Shane thinks he's going to hit, 80,000.
Yeah, you could end up looking like an asshole.
Yeah, it's like a lose-lose, but then people that back you, they'll be like, why am I backing you the first, like, dude, you've made $200,000 and I don't know what I'm getting for my backing yet. It's like, dude, just wait. It's like, like I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I felt so bad about it. Those original complaints, which I probably shouldn't, but it still irks me to this day. I added like two more trading cards that aren't even listed as stretch goals to the people will get. So people actually got more just because I didn't know how to set up my stretch goals. So like, I think I did it right by holding them up for like 24 hours, but it's almost like I didn't give anything away for crossing 6 figures, and it's like, can you imagine if you were Eric and you put down his stretch goals and then, like before he
like 200.
Yeah. It's like, oh, dude, you need to, where's my $3 million stretch goal? Where's my, like, can you imagine if he put down before he launched a campaign, if we make $3 million, you get,
yeah,
it's like
we call that the Sean Gordon Murphy technique.
Yeah,
it actually worked out for Eric. How long does your campaign have left? You must be getting close.
3 days and something. I'm actually probably, if I was smart, I would be streaming, but I'm really just trying to wrap it up. Like, I'm at this point of anxiety with the book. I just want it done. Like, in a good way. Like, I'm so close. Like, I like, by the time I'm closing out Wednesday, I think I'll have like 4 pages left to draw and I'm done. Like, with the entire book, the supplementals already at pre-press. I'll just need to do my dialogue and then send it to letters, and I'm done. So,
are you gonna do a big like closeout stream or something?
Yeah, I was planning on it, and then I don't know where Ethan came on my stream last night. He's like, "Oh, you should do it over here with me," and I'm like, "Okay," but I mean, I don't know if he'll be on my channel or his channel or what. I don't know. I'll do a stream.
You could hit 300K.
That's what he was saying. I don't think so. Like,
JDA was at like under 30,000 the day before, and everyone was like, "You'll hit 35," and he was like, "There's no way I'll hit 35," and it didn't look like it was going to happen. There was 14 hours left, and he was like on 31. I think he ended up on 34. So like, proportionately, I don't know, it doesn't seem outside the realm of possibilities here.
No, it's not, but it's me and Yanzi were talking about it last night. Our stretch goals are okay, but I had to look at my stretch goals. I have a pterodactyl sticker at, I think, 290, or I'm sorry. Yeah, no, 290. That's so crazy to say 290. That's just crazy. It still shocks me I made that much money on this book.
Yeah, I remember when you launched Starlight Cats, and like, that must have been even more nerve-wracking because it was, you don't know what a property like that's gonna do in this scene.
Well, that wasn't,
and then I remember it just went crazy.
Well, and I'm still trying to get Starlight Cats 2 off the ground for next year, but that property and that book and that story, I just think is solid. I mean, and I have so many people. I've sold 700 copies of Starlight Cats in this campaign.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like but like it would feel like I would feel more nervous launching Starlight Cats than I would a book like Inglorious Rex. But I mean, yeah, it did amazing. I was just saying, like, I remember like the shock on your face on day one of Starlight Cats and how like
People,
welcome
I
to
actually
Comicsgate, welcome to
I have a reason why Starlight Cats was first, and a lot of people, some people won't
yeah, I
like
heard you tell
my
that.
reason. Well, a lot of people when I came into CG, they were like, "Don't back first time creators," and I was like, "Well, if I'm gonna take that hit where I have to do a book to prove to people I'll fulfill a book, I'm gonna take the hit on the cat book, not Inglorious Rex." So, and a lot of people are going to be like, "That's why you did that one first." It's like, yeah, like that was a lot of that was going on in CG at the time. A lot of people were saying that. So
Now I hear people saying, "Don't back big creators." It ebbs and flows. I don't know, it's here and there, but look, it all worked out in the end. This is crazy. Yeah, 290,000. Oh my god. That's nuts. I want to be where you guys are at one day.
yeah, I don't even know how I got here, Mike. I wish I could draw you a road.
Well, but you're a pretty good artist. You're a pretty good artist. You tell a good story. I read Starlight Cats. It was a great book.
Yeah.
This looks rad. I don't know why you wouldn't be here. Comicsgate is awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, it all works. I think I'm at the 2 hour mark. I'm gonna end it up, Shane. So I'm gonna go in to have dinner and stuff. But I will just say, if you enjoyed this stream and you enjoyed me playing around with skulls for 2 hours, consider signing up to the Lucent Painted Death. Felix Huss, the Link Master, has the link there in the chat. Doesn't cost you anything. Sign up. What will cost you something, but it's worth it, is backing Inglorious Rex. If for some reason you haven't, and even if you have, back it again. I mean, why not? One for you. What do they used to say here? One for mum, one for dad, one for king and country. That's what they used to say here. I don't know if they said that. Probably didn't say that. Oh, we got Anna in the house. She says, "Dang it, I needed something to listen to while I drive." I'm sorry, Anna.
Yeah.
Family waits for no one.
Anna, you can listen to this. Hang on, I got something for Anna.
Jeez. That was a wet one, Shane. Go change your pants. Jesus. All right. Thank you, Shane, for coming and keep me company while I work. Biggest thank you goes out to the wonderful, amazing, incredible, and spectacular, sexiest chat in all of CG. I will see you guys tomorrow morning on a new video coming out. It'll be the follow-up to this morning. So, all right, I'll see you then. All right, guys, bye.
Individually, we are weak, like a single twig, but as a bundle, we form a mighty